Hello, Junior.
Hello.
Hello. So, thanks for taking the time to have a chat with me. We're going to talk all things you, all things your role at Contact, and get a bit of an insight into, who you are. So, I suppose to kick us off, I mean, for people that are watching this who have never had the pleasure of meeting you, give a little introduction to you and the stuff that you do.
Yeah, I'd say as present day, I am chairman of the board at the Contact Theatre. I'm a writer. I have an audio drama with the BBC coming out soon.
Hey.
I'm also a content producer, and I make films as well. So
cool.
When sometimes people ask, I say I'm a creative in it, but in today's day and age, when you say that, that can just mean so many things, but that's what it means for me.
Tell me a little bit about, you talk about filmmaking and writing, and we'll talk about your role on the board in a bit later on, but what one of the questions I've been asking people is, do you have like an early memory or a time that you can pinpoint the first time that you sort of clicked in your head that filmmaking or writing was something that you could invest time into and was like, I'm doing that. This could be a thing for me.
So my parents always tell me that when I was young, like really, really young, I've never actually said this on camera like before, but so that I would always so my dad would have like a vinyl player in the house, and he said that I would just like whatever I was doing, I would stop and I would literally just watch the vinyl just spinning round. I couldn't believe that this thing was just spinning. Anything that would just spin round, like sometimes if the washing machine was on like the mad spin cycle, I'd just be like, my God, this thing's just spinning around. So then when I kind of got older and I kind of started to, I'd say like primary school, did a little bit of like theatre related stuff and that, and high school as well. But it's like, as I kind of got older, I started to get more into, I guess, how you can just manipulate visuals and how you can tell stories like visually. And I'd always see, I guess I was still like a huge like music fan, but back in the day, like watching different music videos and sometimes like looking for the credits and seeing who directed it, and then starting to see people's like styles kind of come through, and like all little things, I guess, pertaining to visuals from early as when I was young has always kind of like captivated me as well. So
you've done loads of different projects, you've done loads of different I'll call them schemes with different organizations and stuff. I guess one question I had was like, when was the first sort of opportunity for you that you realized that like you could make a professional career out of doing that thing, or you first got given a chance that made the work you do today not just a hobby, but something that was your income?
So it's kind of like two sides of the coin to this particular story. So I had a period maybe from around the age of I'd say 16, so like year 11, where there was like a bit of like a boom with regards to a lot of like original like narrative driven stuff from UK that was kind of representing I'd say more like working class like stories were kind of being told. So when I kind of saw that kind of boom happening, I remember feeling like sometimes I would kind of like sit and like wait for like credits at the end of like films, and you would kind of clock that someone who might have been like a lead actor was also the writer or was part of the producing team or was part of the directing team. And I was thinking, wow, this is crazy. Like, have I just seen this person's name twice? And be rewinding the DVD and I'm thinking, oh my God, like it's actually possible that this thing can be kind of done. So I guess for me, I was performing quite a lot around that time. And as I was performing, I kind of started to see that there wasn't really, as far as like, I guess, diversity within roles, especially roles for young Black males at that particular time. It was kind of like you came out of the womb with a knife, and it's like, really, is that all your? So that kind of inspired me to kind of get more into writing, because I was always kind of trying to be proactive and thinking, okay, if the stories that I want to kind of see told, if they're not being told, then okay, let me attempt to tell those stories. So as a result of kind of like developing that proactive mentality, I got onto like a filmmaking scheme at the BBC when I was 17. So this would have been like 2009-ish, end of 2009. So that was kind of a big eye opener. I guess by that particular point in time, as far as like work wise, the only place that you would have worked maybe like, I don't know, like a little like retail job or something like that, versus being at college in the day and then having to leave college early on a Friday to go to the BBC. And it's like, okay, this is kind of like, you're just seeing so many things going on and you're like, oh wow, like, okay, this is quite eye-opening. So that was a really good, I guess, intro into the industry period, because it's like you're working with so many people who you're all like kind of like your infancy with regards to your creative journey. So you just kind of, you're trying to find your path, but at the same time, everyone else who's around you is trying to find their path as well.
When you worked within that, like what was that like a sort of smaller opportunity that then ended and moved to something else, or was that something that progressed into another role?
I think the scheme itself that ran for a year, and then after that, there was like opportunities to kind of have like work experience and that kind of stuff as well. And I had a really, really, really good mentor who that she helped me out a lot, just with regards to I guess ultimately like this whole journey for any creative is just trying to find your path. Like you can get in, the net is so wide, but it's like you just kind of want to just like refine it and find like where am I going to kind of like land within this whole kind of thing. So it was a real, as I say, it's like, I don't want to say best worst experience I've ever had, but it's one of the best with regards to, it just kind of gave me like a good like overview of, and I guess it gave me a good overview of the industry, and it posed a lot of questions to me. And there's a lot of things where I'll still refer back to that experience.
So you work now, what's your role at the BBC that you have now?
So currently at the BBC, I'm an assistant content producer. So I work on the BBC homepage. So that page gets like 1 billion plus clicks a year. So which is like a daunting number. So we, in my team, we kind of work across like curating content from all the TV channels. So like BBC 1 to 4, all of the radio stations. So 1 Extra, 2, 3, 4, etc. It's kind of like you just maybe, and then also you're kind of dealing with what's happening in the world at the time as well. And there's a lot of like social listening. So you kind of keep an eye on the stories of the day that are coming in, whether that's stories with regards to news, music, film, art, which and whatnot. A couple of years ago, I worked in Glastonbury as part of my job. So like, there's just so many. I think it's been a really kind of fulfilling job for me, because again, at this point in time, when I kind of came into that job, I wanted to kind of see, because again, the BBC is a huge organization, as we all know, but it's like I wanted to see, how does this whole organization, like, how, from like a collaboration standpoint, how does that work in such a big place? So again, I've said before, I've been a young creative coming into this place for the first time and being wild, like, oh my God, this is huge. Now I'm working there as a staff member X years later, and it's like, so all of these different channels, all of these different platforms have their own output and they're doing their own thing. But
like they have literally their own little villages, don't they? Like they have their own little structures and teams.
Yeah, I've taken in a lot from this world, definitely.
And so, I mean, we'll probably go back now to, because this is where you're at now and your new role at Contact. But what I'm interested in is where does Contact come into your life, your journey from the very beginning? Like, what was your first interaction with Contact?
So I guess for me, I grew up not too far from Contact. And my high school, again, was not too far from Contact. My college wasn't too far from there. So I've kind of always seen the building, even from young, where like everybody has that same thing where it's like, oh, that bowling alley kind of built, like what's that building? Like it looks kind of like the building with the spikes, like that kind of thing. So I guess when I was young, I went to a lot of like different like workshops and things in there. One of my cousins who is a fashion designer, she once did a photo shoot in there. So I remember coming in there and helping her out with that. Nice. So just loads of like little small different like interactions. But then I'd say where I'd say contact really kind of came into my life was around say 2015. So by this point, as I mentioned, I've been in college, so I've got into this BBC scheme, so I'm kind of seeing the industry for the first time. I've now graduated, I've worked in London. Again, I'm seeing a different side of the industry again, which is like, oh my God, this is mind-blowing. Crazy, like I need to get to work. And then I come back to Manchester, and now I've kind of had good little bits of experience in different big organizations doing little things here and there. And I remember getting funded from my uni. They had like a funding pot that I was successful in applying to, where they gave me some money to make some short film content with regards to just like addressing like social change and that kind of thing. So now, as a result of the learnings that I've had in roles prior, I'm now managing a little team, and we're kind of going out, we're doing little jobs here and there, which and whatever. So I'm building up quite a lot of skills, and I'm still working part-time, like Foot Locker, big up Foot Locker. So I'm now like working part-time, and then I'm running this own little small business as well at the same time. So it got to a point where one day I was thinking to myself, right, I feel like I'm ready now to step out and go for my next kind of like professional job. So again, what London and what the BBC early taught me is that I needed to build myself up. It's all good to say, I can do this. So, okay, well, cool, where's the proof in it?
Yeah.
So in that period, it was like a year between like, I'd say like midway through 2014 up until say like midway 2015, I was like every single day, independent projects, working on different things. Had another little small documentary that I did with the BBC as well, that my team was able to work with me on. So I'm managing projects here and there, like putting things out. And then I saw a role at Contact to be a project manager. So when I saw that, I was like, the first thing in my mind that came to me, I was thinking, I know I'll get a chance here. Like, I feel like, not to say, at the time, it's like you've got a bit of like, I guess, cynicism where you're thinking, are they going to read my application? Is it actually going to get read? But like, when I saw that for Contact, I was like, I'll get I feel like I'll get a fair shot here. Like, it will get read.
It'll get read.
Yeah, that's just where your mentality at the time, because when you just like, I guess you're on the grind, you're just trying to like work things out, and you're trying to just piece different things together. So like, I put my application in, and I got an interview, and I was like, right, oh my God, this is good. So did the interview, got the role, and again, like I always say, one of the first kind of like vibes that I kind of felt, and in like conversations that I had with people, was like, okay, these certain things that you do already, this is really, really strong. A lot of these experiences that you've got are really, really strong. And it kind of validated it more to me, because at the time when you're working, you're plugging away, and you're doing like one day here on a set, and you're putting your own little projects together, in your own mind, you just feel like, okay, I'm just trying to just build. But when someone else in an organization that you respect says, oh, you've built up a lot of good stuff here, it kind of makes you feel good about yourself and what you're doing. So I was managing, so we had the drama drop, we had another stage design drop-in session. So I was managing both of them. And then I also managed Making Contact. So that was like a huge project where we kind of went on a journey to almost kind of like uncover the history of Contact from like late 60s till present day, like at that time. So it was kind of like going through the archives, finding out who was who from which and where, hiring a team of young people, traveling all around to like literally every single arts venue in the UK, interviewing different people, had an amazing team of young people that came on this whole journey with us, and all the things I could bring, I was able to just develop. And as you're kind of developing and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's like people see that and take note, and they're like, oh yeah, oh, how do you feel about coming onto this?
Yeah. I suppose it's giving you that sort of, just that trust to be like, we trust that you can like lead this and get this done. So you then left Contact as a staff member.
Yes.
And you've recently now gone for you applied for the role of chair of the board and were successful. Spoiler alert. But tell me a bit about that process and like where did that come in? Because that's a role that is something that, I mean, project manager, I think everyone can kind of guess what that is. A chair of a board is like, first of all, what actually is a board? Second of all, what's a chair of a board? So where did this come in, Junior? What made you go for that, and why was it the right time?
Seeing the role for chair of Contact, I'm like looking through the job description things. I'm saying, okay, wow, I've picked up this here. I picked up that there. I've worked in the building all these years from I'm 28 now, but at the time I was 27. Was I 27? I was 27 when I applied. I was 28 when I got it. So I was thinking from 17 to 28, that's like 11 years. You don't ever it's like you'd never sit down and calculate how many years you've been just going at it. Like that's 11 years of training in big buildings, big institutions, learning from some of the best people that would then allow me to see such a role and apply for it. I felt naturally, I was like, okay, I'm ready now for a step up. I'm ready to showcase all the skills, all the things that I've learned at this level. Like it feels right. It feels like now is the right time. And on top of that, again, it's that contact.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I think as a result of now, I think going forward, more organizations potentially might be thinking, okay, yeah, you know what, let's give a young person a chance in such a role. Let's see what comes of that. But I think it's just in Contact's nature to always just take a chance. At the start of that year, I was like, I want a senior role. I just never knew it would be that. So when I then saw that, I was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, you know what? Why not? I've got nothing to lose. I feel like I believe in myself. And since I've left the building, there's so many things, as a result of the mentality that I developed working in the building, there's so many things that I've now gone on to accomplish as a result. And now when I combine my experience in the building and I combine everything that's happened after and before, I'm like, you know what, why not? Like, why not?
Thanks so much for taking time to chat with me today as part of this series with Contact. And I know that we'll be speaking a lot more soon about Contact and its missions and stuff. But for now, a big thank you for today.
No worries. I've really enjoyed it. I hope within that there's some takeaways now.